Hey y'all. So I guess this is like an update on a video. Like who does that? I do that apparently. So the original video, right, with me, I guess critiquing and adding my comment on This is Revolution podcast episode incels and like the masculine fragility of incels, capitalism, blah blah blah. I'll put the title in this edited video when I premiere it. But nonetheless, there was a question in the comments where a person asked me about antinatalism, and truth be told, that was the first time I heard that term. So I was just like, I know what natals are. Like, take your prenatals. I know what that is, but like antinatalism, like what the fuck is that? So, look, like I'll say again, I'm not the type of person who pretends to know it all. I really don't. I try to know it all as much as I can, but I'm not the type of person who is scared to admit that they don't know something, or they're not sure, or they're confused, or they have to think about it. Like, I was the annoying kid in grade school who always asked why. I was like, why? It was me. So even as an adult, that part of me hasn't like stopped. So I'll always ask why if I don't know something, because I like to know. Because the Taurus that I am, I will not be publicly humiliated talking about some shit that I don't know with the confidence of my chest. Okay? And my Libra moon would not survive it. But nonetheless, now that I made the video of my opinions of like why antinatalism is kind of contrary to life, obviously, like the belief that you don't want to have kids, you don't want to perpetuate kids, and you want people to not have kids themselves. Like, yes, that's anti-life in a sense of like, once you don't have kids, then that ends your quote unquote lineage because you're not having kids. That doesn't mean if you have siblings and they have kids, that's the ultimate end of your, I guess, quote unquote bloodline. If you don't have kids, but your brothers and sisters have kids, then that would be, their kids would be your nieces and nephews. So like, yes, your bloodline continues in general, but your particular unique DNA of your unique particular branch of your family tree won't quote unquote flourish, but like the other branches in general probably will. And I say this to say is that antinatalism in and of itself will not work, because if eugenics couldn't work, and they tried hard than a hoe to make eugenics work, then I just don't see the global population taking the, I guess, martyr approach by saying, you know what, I'm not having kids. On the global scale, especially in poor nations, people have kids, especially a lot of kids, because that's their quote unquote retirement plan to a degree. Let me explain. In countries where there is a lot of economic uncertainty and there's not a lot of economic opportunities and there's a lot of poverty, people will have kids because a lack of access to birth control, but also they have kids because they need help. These are usually people who are working in agriculture, so they need help in the fields. They also need help with children helping them get water, or children helping them clean, or clean the clothes, clean the home, help them in the commerce markets and so on and so forth. Like, kids are kind of like apprentices, because most likely than not, they're going to take on the responsibilities and the roles of the parent when they become an adult, as well as a lot of these adults, they don't have fucking Medicare. They don't have Medicaid. They don't have a social security in their country. Like, they don't have social programmings in their country. So they have kids because they understand when they get older, they need someone they can trust that would take care of them in their old age. So a system that is built on exploitation, i.e. capitalism, i.e. the poor are the majority and they are the ones who are downtrodden, and then the rich are a minority, but because they own the means of production, they can influence politics, and they have a lot of power and influence, they can live prosperously off of the backs of the majority who are economically minorities, if you catch my drift. Unless you can be able to meet these people's basic needs without them having to pump out kids, I just don't see people just guaranteeing not having kids just because of this philosophy of sort. Also, besides the survival aspect of why certain people have kids, and when I say certain people, the majority of people, especially in poor nations. This is why in a lot of poor nations, you will see a lot of young people, but not a lot of old people. And it's because of this system of thinking of having kids, because maybe a few kids will die in childhood due to childhood diseases. Young children in America, if it's not due to like poverty or exposure to the elements like crime-ridden area, most kids will survive past childhood. But in other countries where like diseases that we see as like, oh, we've gotten rid of that, that doesn't happen to us, we don't have these afflictions. In those countries, they still do. So kids do die relatively young. So it's kind of like, in essence, thinking, put your eggs into different baskets, meaning having more kids guarantees you a better outcome, because there might be kids who die to like sudden infant death, SIDS. There might be kids who die because of like, if you live in a gang-ridden cartel neighborhood, they might get hit by a stray bullet or some shit. Like, this is real. Let's talk about real shit. This is real life, right? And then you might have some kids who wander off and they do their own thing. They get caught up in the street kid life, or they end up going to prison, or whatever the case may be. But they're betting at least one kid will be average enough to take care of them, or at best, there'll be one breakout kid who is the exceptional, who is kind of like, to Black America, oh, the Obama, the Beyonce, the Oprah, you know, the exceptional, the one that made it. They're hoping that they could have at least one child that quote unquote makes it, so they can live better, the parent, and the child could do better than the parent and continue the family legacy, the family tree, their branch, but more prosperous. So, and then for the people who truly want to have kids because they feel like it's their divine right, it's their human right, as well as they love children. They've always wanted to be a mother. They've always wanted to be a father. That's very valid as well. And again, I don't feel like it's my right to impede on other people's right to tell them that they can't have kids. And the grand irony of things is that I'm more pro-choice than anything. I'm not the type of person who's going to tell a woman that she needs to have a baby because of the Bible. And understanding biology, because like, not only did I go to school, but like I also have Google. So like I understand that an embryo is not the same thing as a fetus, and a fetus is not the same thing as a fully developed, fully formed human being baby. Like, that's not all the same. And because I know this, I can say I am pro-choice, because a clump of cells is not the equivalent to a baby. As well as, even if it was, throw the religion aside, throw the patriarchy control aside, I truly believe because this baby is growing in your fucking body, you have the choice to determine if you want this to continue to full term or not, because it is your body. As a woman, a biological woman, I know what a woman's body feels like. I know the hardships of menstruation, okay? I cannot fathom having something grow in my body that I detest. Warning, trigger warning, that's enough to make me
goodbye
Jeffrey Epstein myself, if you catch my drift. After the conviction, none of the shit that he was caught up in, that's not my steez. I would never force that onto a woman. Even in the least extreme situations, not because she was molested or raped or she was this and that, not even that. Just on some free will shit. I would not force anybody to carry any life in their body that they truly do not want. Because a lot of these pro-lifers love to tell you the Bible says this, the Bible says that, but their asses are the same ones who will call you a welfare queen and when you can't take care of your kid, especially a kid that you did not even want to begin with. And these pro-lifers never consider the quality of life a child is going to have that no one actually wanted, right? No one questions the misery that that child's going to face. No one questions the abuse that child's going to face. No one questions the inhumane life experience that this challenge of a child is going to experience. No one questions that in, because no one truly cares about life in totality. Because if you did, you would understand sometimes difficult decisions are the best decisions. And sometimes those decisions is to terminate the pregnancy. Not on some wish upon a star Disney shit, on some real shit, on some, if I can't make daily bread for myself, how the fuck am I going to afford Pampers, formula, childcare, and everything else? But this is not a conversation about pro-life versus abortion. This is not it. The real point I have in this is because I also had some like new upgrading like thoughts and I guess you can say not research, but it just kind of stumbled upon my lap about another point of view in regards to this antinatalism conversation. For most humans, for most people, having children is not just a helping hand type of situation, but it is seen as a divine right, and it's seen as divinity in and of itself. Whether you believe a baby has consciousness or a baby is a blank slate, regardless of where you stand on that, babies are seen as a marker of good and prosperous new beginnings. In every culture, every race, you will always see there's an energy around love and happiness and community around babies. Babies just have that fucking magical essence, as needy, as dependent, as smelly at times, and as cranky and loud and crying and all the things that make babies babies. We still love them, we still yearn for them, and we break our backs for them, because that is what connects us to our humanity. These life cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. And babies signify that. From old to young, everybody loves babies. Now, the politics around babies, not everybody loves. I.e., if there's no money, there's no honey. Ain't no finances, ain't no romances. If you catch my drift. I see a lot of people saying that they don't want kids. And the gag is, for the longest, I did not want kids. I, for the most part, am on the verge of saying no to kids for the fact that, just like everybody else, if there's no finances, then I'm not going to struggle with a baby on my hip. Not only would that be very stereotypical, me being a Black woman and all, but also economically, it just would not benefit me. Not because babies suddenly became more stinkier and louder and needier over the last what? It's really because there is no financial incentive for me to have children. If I cannot afford rent and childcare, it'd be stupid for me to have a child. If I cannot afford student loans and Pampers, student loan repayments, might I add, and Pampers, it doesn't make sense for me economically to have a child. A lot of Americans, you don't have to raise your hand. This is not me trying to dig into your business. But a lot of Americans cannot afford a $400 emergency. Whether that means my tires broke down, whether that means I need to get this medication, whether that means whatever. An emergency, $400, we need it now. Most Americans cannot come out of pocket for that. 85% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Most people on the gram are lying. Most people on Twitter are flossing. They ain't got it. They say they got it, but they ain't got it. Statistics say they ain't got it. Fed say they ain't got it. IRS said they ain't got it. Most Americans got debt. Student loan debt, medical debt, debt. Okay? The average American dies with $60,000 of debt on their heads. And funerals are not expensive. The average cost of a funeral is 10 grand. And that's the very basic, sweetie. We're not talking about all the glitz and the glamour of funerals. We're talking about the very basic. 10 grand. It's expensive to live. It's expensive to exist. We got to subscribe to everything in life. Got to subscribe to your entertainment. Got to subscribe to your health. Got to subscribe to your food. Got to subscribe to your material needs. Everything's a fucking subscription. Subscribe. Debt. So what economic incentive would it be for us to have kids? When we're always ripping and running, we're tired, our mental health is always triggered, we have no financial support, and because we're so caught up in our trauma, we can't even have a successful relationship longer than 2 seconds without looking at our quote unquote other options and creating side chicks and side dude situations, third party situations. We don't have a supportive community because it does take a village to raise kids, and we live on a me, myself, and I, and independence, American exceptionalism. I don't need nobody else. I got it. So we don't got communities to help us with kids. Whereas previously, before this rancid late stage capitalism, we did have a sense of community. And truth be told, the reason why humanity has survived for this long is because of our sense of community. But we don't got community today, right? We don't have economic support today. We don't even have partnerships in a sense of like a healthy relationship. Every other day, your favorite celebrities are breaking up and making up and exposing each other and making all these trauma, drama, unrequited love, codependency records. So no one actually knows how to be in a successful and healthy longevity, pragma type of relationship. So yes, I can see why a lot of people are looking at this antinatalism, especially when they see their lives, especially their childhood, as very scarred, right? Especially if you did come from a childhood of abuse, of neglect, and you're still processing that shit. Because the shadow is the shadow, the unconscious is the unconscious, and we're always improving on ourselves, even though that we're masterpieces, because we are a masterpiece and a work in progress all at the same time. So if you're having all of these afflictions, your money ain't right, you don't know what real love is, you don't have a real suitable counterpart to take this leap of parenthood with, as well as you don't have a community to support you and to support your child. And then on top of that, you still have your own trauma of childhood that you're still trying to work out. The last thing you need to do is be having kids. I think a lot of people, if they did have a supportive community and they did work out their traumas and they did have economic support, like a livable wage, no $15 minimum wage, and definitely not whatever the fuck, $7 and some change on the federal level, like a legitimate $60,000 minimum a year, but it only goes up. Nothing goes lower than $60,000 a year. I think a lot of people would change their minds about children, because children can be seen as burdens or blessings, right? Perception is everything. Is the cup half empty or half full? If I am being burdened by all the aforementioned that I mentioned within this video, then why the fuck would I have kids? I see kids as another bill, another burden, another hang up, another commitment that I don't even want to commit to, like this shitty ass job. Why would I have a kid? But if I did have the communal support and I did have a viable income and I did feel good about myself and I did feel like I was worth a damn and I loved myself and I dealt with my trauma, then I see children, babies in particular, as a new chapter. Been through the storm, now we're sailing and cruising towards the rainbow. But if I'm still in the eye of the storm, I can't see the rainbow. And I feel like a lot of people who are riding heavy on this antinatalism, for various amount of reasons, and a lot of it may so be legitimate, but I think the underlying issue, feeling, resentment, discardment, discontent, whatever you want to call it, with this antinatalism conversation is because you really can't afford kids. And that's a real shit. Capitalism kills. That's not just a cute little moniker that I came up with. It's legitimate. Capitalism capitalizes. So you don't want to have kids and be set with another set of burdens if you already have student loans, if you already have a mortgage, if you already have a car note, and then to have kids, it's like, goddamn, can a bitch breathe? So I get it. I get it. I get it. Another aspect of this antinatalism conversation before I forget, I also think it is people taking a right? In the sense of, in this capitalistic system, the minority rules, the majority lose. You don't own your home because the 2008 mortgage crisis told you ain't owning nothing. When the banks fuck up, you lose your home. You don't own any properties because you literally do not own any properties because the house is expensive. But also, the properties that you do have, if you can't upkeep the taxes, if anything goes wrong, you can't keep up with the payments, or government forfeitures where they just say, yeah, we want this land, so we're just going to take it. Move on. Trail of Tears, get on. Because we want this, and we're going to take this because we're the United States government. So you realize that. And you realize that you don't have the means. You don't have the old boy networks. You don't have the money. You don't have any substantial luck of windfall of money like the lottery. So you realize that you don't own shit. The car that you have, unless you pay off the note, you don't own that either. That could be repoed. So you realize that you don't own nothing. Even the things that you quote unquote own in your property, like your jewelries, can be taken from you. Your TV could be taken from you. Like the landlord says, you gotta go. We raising prices, then you gotta go. They raising prices. So you realize that there is nothing that you truly own, especially in this late stage capitalist system, besides your body. And I see why a lot of people, everyday people, are fighting heavy to protect their bodies, because that's the last stance that you have in this capitalistic system. And I'll explain. A lot of women are recircling their wagons on Roe versus Wade. All women, regardless of class, regardless of race, regardless, even if you were pick me, my father picked me. All women kind of unite on some Voltron shit when our physical bodies are under attack. Because we understand, as women in patriarchy, regardless of class, regardless of race, regardless of education, regardless, we understand that patriarchy will patronize women, but they will never truly give women a seat at the table. So when men start talking about how they're going to rule over the bodies of women, it's like a dog whistle to us, where we get in line real quick, fast, in a hurry, because we understand if they take a blow at one of us, they're going to take a blow at all of us. So regardless of how we feel about a lot of things, women will unite in regards to Roe versus Wade or anything that harms or infringes on our rights to exist as women. This is why we're always combating stereotypes. We're always combating pick me type of mentality. We're always combating the male gaze, because we understand, you give an inch, we back into slavery, where women can't do shit without a man co-signing shit. Right? In certain cultures, it still is the way that it is. In certain, especially strict Muslim societies, women can't do shit without being co-signed by a man. So we as women, especially Western women, anytime we hear anything that's infringing on our personhood, we are quick, fast, in a hurry to be like, oh, this pussy punch back. For men, right? Especially a lot of men who are striking, especially those who are like in the Kellogg strike, the John Deere strike, the Bisco strikes, and so on and so forth. A lot of those men, they're standing up and saying, hey, you want my labor? You got to earn my labor. You got to put money on my labor. You got to support me with benefits, because just like this factory gets old, these hands get old. This back gets old. These shoulders get old. These knees get old. So I need to be sure that when I'm old and I am less prime, you're not going to discard me like a third world country. You're not going to discard me because I'm no longer viable to the capitalistic wheel. That you're going to take care of me just like I took care of you. A lot of those men striked and are continuing their strikes because they understand their personhood is under attack. Because if they don't stand up today, their sons, their nephews, their cousins tomorrow won't have a livable wage. Will be out here working for pennies on a dollar. So they have to take a stand now to make sure that their children, their offsprings tomorrow will have a decent existence. And even a John Deere worker said himself, look, the way I'm set up, I'm pretty much good. But what they're trying to do with this two-tier system, where the lower tier gets nothing, no benefits, no longevities, no security, no nothing, I'm not down with that. So fuck the two-tier system. If I got it, everybody in this plant deserves to get it, because we all put the same fucking work in. So we all deserve to get the same equal slice of the pie. That's their personhood. They're protecting that, not only for themselves, but for their children, their offsprings, the future employment of that job, because they understand I am because we are, therefore I am. I am who I am because we all collectively work together. Because we collectively work together, I am able to live a viable existence. I am because we are, therefore I am. There is no I without we, period. And then you have the anti-vaxxers or vaccine hesitant people. And for whatever reason, MAGA hat, black extremists, medical conspiracy theory, whatever fucking reason, I don't give a motherfucking damn, whatever it is, they're standing up for their personhood too. Because they're like, you don't pay me, you don't support me, you got narcs all up and through this work system, you ain't got no motherfucking benefits, and now you want to stick me with jabs? Then what the fuck else? You gonna prod me with shit too? You gonna give me lobotomies too? You gonna microchip me too? If I gotta take this motherfucking shot, this experimental shot that we know Pfizer is just rolling around in the dough. I believe they said like for every minute, Pfizer is like getting like 60 shots per minute. Something wild crazy like that. Point is, they're making boom, boom, just rolling in the dough, rolling in the cocaine residue. Okay? Them folks, the anti-vaxxers, the vaccine hesitant, for whatever reason, again, whatever reason, they're standing up for their personhood because they understand you take and you take, you break and you break, you rape and you rape, and I get nothing at the end of the day. Down. And now you want to prod me like I'm some fucking lab rat? Like I'm some fucking experimental puppet thing? Hell no. I'm holding my own goddamn line. And even if that means I gotta be unemployed and I gotta circle my wagons and cut the excess fat and live very basic, I'll do that, because I will not allow the government, the employer class, the capitalists, the oligarchs, the corporations, the whatever, dictate to me what I can or cannot do with my body. Mandate this FU. Let's go, Brandon. And I get that. I get that. On a personhood to personhood level, I get that. Am I necessarily anti-vaccine hesitant? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm like 50-50 on this bitch. I'm gonna be honest with you. However, I don't judge. I give grace and space to whatever angle you're on with this. Because I do think the American population do need to hold the line with the oligarchs. Y'all just been running a whole fucking muck. And not only that, you've been really giving the American people your asses to kiss. Y'all ran around talking about, don't ask what the government can do for you. Ask for what you can do for the government.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
And we sacrifice our kids in these endless, useless, capitalistic, evil fucking wars. We don't sacrifice our fucking mental health. We don't sacrifice our fucking bodies in these fucking plants and these trash ass conglomerates, these trash ass corporations like Walmart and Amazon.
Walmart. I just want to say that. Attention, all Walmart shoppers, associates, and managers. My name is Shauna from Cap 2, and I just want to come on here and say Henry is a racist, stinky. Giovanna is racist. Elias is a prick of a manager. This company fires black associates for no reason. This company treats their employees like shit, especially Cap 2, and Jimmy from Sporting Goods, Joseph the cashier, Larry from Garden Center. You are all perverts. And I hope you don't talk to your daughters the way you talk to me. Shout out to Ariel. I love you for getting me this job a year ago when I needed it most. Fuck the managers, fuck this company, fuck this position, and fuck that big lazy Chris Price. I fucking quit. I'm out.
We done given everything, including our blood and our bone marrow, to science. And all you can tell us is more money, ho. Run them pockets. We tired. We motherfucking tired. So, I think a part of this antinatalism is somewhat aligned with, or maybe it's just like a divine intervention in the sense of like it just crossed. It just was the right timing. But I do feel with this antinatalism, somewhat has to do with this whole like I am holding the line on my body. Because let's be clear, these corporations who are discussing, oh, there's a lack of American children being born, there's a decrease in the population, there's a lack of new babies being born. Let's be clear, Elon Musk could give a fuck less about what the fuck is going on between your legs. Elon Musk don't give a goddamn unless you laying golden fucking eggs, bitch. He don't give a damn. But you know what he does give a damn about? More workers for the labor market. He's betting on, with or without global warming and climate change, you still gonna need a job and you still gonna need money. Maybe not a job, but you still gonna need money. So he's banking on, hey, I need to keep this money train going. So I need y'all to get up off your ass and get up on your back and push out some kids. Because who else is going to work the factories? Me? Elon Musk? Me? Me and my 6 kids? Me and my class? Me? Us? The oligarch? Absolutely not. You think Elon Musk gives a fuck? If Elon Musk give a fuck, he would have already cleared out all of our student loan debt and still be a billionaire. Has he done that? If Elon Musk gave a fuck, he would have gave us a livable wage. Just this send of $60,000 in the mail just for the fuck of it. He still would have been a billionaire. If Elon Musk truly give a fuck about humanity and prosperity and the future of technology, he would have been cut checks. But he ain't cutting shit but Twitter tweets. That's all he got for you is Twitter tweets and theatrics. But he ain't coming out of pocket for near nothing. He wants y'all to keep pushing out babies because he needs that labor. So I think the antinatalism and the holding the line on your personhood thing all is intersecting at a very unique time. And I'm here for it. I am here for it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I shall see you in the next video. Peace.